Meanwhile, in Wonder Man's apartment, old clone Beast is helping Wonder Man with an audition. All right. Okay, feed me the first line.
Okay. I never thought you'd come.
Well, that's right. I'm here. And I don't care that we're both married to other people. It's you that I love. And it's you. You're the one that turns me on. How was that? Was that good? Okay. Yes? Was that good?
I just can't help but reminisce of the times you and I would lie next to each other.
Oh, no. Don't bring this up.
Jerk off next to each other, staring into each other's eyes. Do you remember those days?
Hank, we made, now clearly you were cloned before you remember this. We made a blood oath to never talk about our jerk-off sessions.
A blood oath? That sounds serious.
Okay, well, now, and I wouldn't do that anymore because I am a pacifist now, okay?
A pacifist? You were more like a pacifier then, the amount of times I sucked on you.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm not going to get this part.
Oh, my stars and garters. Of course you are, friend. Let's take it from the top.
Okay. Feed me the line.
I farted.
Fuck.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 290. Not 290.
Are you okay?
I am fine. Episode 290 of Comic Book Queer's Legacy. I am your host, Brett, and of course, with us, as always, is our host, Evil Jeff. Hi, Evil.
What were you, gobbling on cock? Why couldn't you say 290?
I don't know. I think somebody put a psychic block on me involving the number 290. Maybe it was Charles Xavier. Maybe it was Emma Frost.
Well, we all know who's the trickster of mind games. It's not Emma Frost anymore.
Xavier.
It's fucking Xavier.
Jesus, the tricks. He is up to some old tricks and some new tricks in Rise of the Powers of 10.
What about you? Are you up to any new tricks?
Me, I have just the old tricks. I am up to my old tricks, and that's about it. How about you?
Yeah, I think I basically was humiliated this past weekend. I'll tell you this little anecdote.
Like sexually?
No. Well, maybe. No. Is that I told Joe, my fiance.
We all know Joe.
I want to have a boys' night out by myself. We've been doing a lot of couple things. We've been hanging out all the time. I need a night out alone with the boys. I decide to treat myself to a nice dinner, and I start making the calls. And here's the problem. When your friends are all older, nobody wanted to go out.
Nobody wanted to go out. Are we talking a weekday?
No, this is Saturday night.
Oh, what? Come on, everybody.
Nobody wanted to go out.
You know what the problem is?
What?
L.A.
Yeah. Wow.
You got to drive everywhere.
Please. Please, bitch. You guys have to walk to subway stations in the freezing cold. I feel that would prevent people from wanting to go out.
I live a block. I live in a block and a half from the subway that goes up and down this fucking island. I am anywhere I need to be in.
We are not getting into a New York versus LA thing right now. No, but I didn't even get to the humiliating part. I didn't even get to the humiliating part. When I was like, well, I guess I'll come home and just hang out with my fiance. I get home. He's like, I went out with my friends to the bars.
That is so Joe. That is such a Joe
And
move.
Then he was like, do you want to come? And I was like, at this point, I was like, no, I'm humiliated.
Advantage.
Humiliated. Humiliation.
Evil Jeff.
Yes.
Speaking of husband, I'm so sorry you were humiliated, but you know what? I'm actually happy for Joe. Did you see the picture of me and my husband on my Instagram page? Because it is legit the best picture of anyone you know or anyone you don't know ever taken. And I swear to God, I'm going to enter it into a photo contest because it is fire. It is like Norman Rockwell realness, but make it gay.
When was this
Are you looking it up right
taken?
now?
I'm trying to. Yeah, when did you take it?
Just now, girl. Like yesterday, from the Roxy Hotel here in Manhattan.
Oh, I did see. Oh, yeah. I hearted it. Yeah, it's
Look
gorgeous.
at this color.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Look at the pull through of the blue.
Yeah, look how big
the
Jeff's
light across
mustache is.
Look at Jeff's mustache. His bushy mustache that he has now.
Do you like that?
Listen, this is an adjustment.
You're not ready for the mustache rides?
I have been married to a clean face for a long time, but I got to tell you something. It's sexy. When that bitch...
You can pretend it's someone new. You're dating someone new.
I do. When he puts on a fisherman beanie with that mustache, I'm like, who's my little Brooklyn boy?
Oh, yeah.
It's cute. We don't live in Brooklyn.
That is fun when the person you're with, like that was one time Joe grew his hair out, and it is like, oh, I have a new I have a new boyfriend. I have a new husband.
Hey, new boyfriend. Yeah.
I remember one time I tried to, but you can't force it on someone. I remember, I think I was getting a little long in the tooth in the relationship I was in, and I was you know what would be really cool if you shaved your head, and if you wore these horn-rimmed glasses.
And get major plastic surgery.
And suddenly it was like, I feel like you want me to look like a completely different person. And I'm like, what?
Why would you say that, Bernard? My name is George.
Exactly.
Wait, why did I just do like an improvised George Bernard Shaw weird synapse thing?
I know. In my head, I was like, should I do a Shaw reference?
Right?
Oh, hilarious.
You should have tied that shit up.
I know, but I didn't. I wasn't quick enough. I don't have my improv skills. I really would love to do some improv again because I feel like I'd be very rusty.
You know what? I feel like I would be better than I've ever been because I'm over any of the like trying too hard or caring bullshit.
Yeah. Just
like I used to care
yourself
about like whether or not somebody saw me and like put me on a team and shit.
Exactly. Oh my God. Speaking of teams, how about that X-Men team?
How about them X-Men team? They got that cartoon coming right around the mountain, but they also have some books dropping on our shelves last week.
And I think we need to talk about them.
Hit it.
I was reading X-Men comics in a cocktail bar. That much is true. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about X-Force first, because I think we should end with Rise of the Powers of X, because it kind of talks about the whole X-Men universe in a way. You know?
It sure does.
X-Force is just dealing with a side story, which is so weird that Wolverine, it's basically dealing with the same characters. Wolverine and X-Force, same characters, but they're all dead in Wolverine.
Different stories.
And they're all alive in X-Force. So it's kind of annoying me.
Best of both worlds, honestly.
But basically, last we left, Hank turned evil and kind of stole some Krakoan tech, and they need to go after him. But for some reason, Domino was like, I got an idea. Let's raise up this old clone that only remembers his Sage. Right, Sage. I'm looking at the pictures here, and I just saw Domino's face, and so I said that. Let's raise it up Avengers Hank, because Avengers Hank had morals, but he ends up escaping. They think he's escaping to go join Beast, but he's not. He's going to see his former lover.
Wonder Man. Simon Williams, the former Avenger, the struggling actor, the rumored star of a TV show starring Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. We'll see. But this Simon, he hasn't been an Avenger for a while. He was evil for a while, but then he turned to pacifism.
Wasn't there a point where Rogue had permanently
absorbed
his powers?
Him. Yeah, when when she was on like Uncanny Avengers, maybe?
I think it was, Uncanny Avengers. I also,
and it was like, why could she fly in?
Does Rogue have any permanent powers right now?
Yeah.
She does have the same. She has the superhuman strength and flight. Is that still from Wonder Man?
I think so, yes.
Okay. All right.
I think because they basically were like, okay, she doesn't have Carol's powers anymore. She's just going to be like movie Rogue. And someone else was like, no, she needs to fly around and be strong like Rogue.
Yeah.
And so Wonder Man.
I never really read the Avengers of when they were like best friends. So this was all new to me.
Nor did I. I did not. Avengers was not really part of my childhood.
Were they West Coast Avengers?
No, they were Avengers. And it was when I didn't read, and also I did read West Coast Avengers, as you know, because
Scarlet
Mockingbird
Witch
had those bell sleeves.
That's the gayest thing you've said the whole podcast.
That's what brought me to that book.
That team was Clint, Scarlet Witch, Vision, Mockingbird, and
Moon Knight and
Tigra
and Hank Pym.
Right.
But Hank Pym, when he was just Hank Pym and he wore that jumpsuit with all the pockets and he kept all like shrunk down shit in all the pockets.
Oh yeah.
That was a man who used pouches. Like he used them. Like the pouches were his power.
Oh, Hank.
The 90s.
So I don't know much about him, but basically he goes there being like, I need your help. And it seems like he wants to stop the current beast. He wants to enlighten the beast is what I'm getting, right?
Yeah, I think he wants to make the narrative around Beast like him, me, this Beast, the one that's an Avenger and best friends with Wonder Man. Like that should be the Marvel Universe Beast, right?
Yeah. And so
the fans are like, yeah.
Yeah. And so he's like, hey, I'm going to go find this other beast to talk to him. But they're like, hey, we have a track on the beast. He's going to the other beast to join up with them. And you're like, uh-oh.
I mean, the flaw in the plan is that you're not going to trust your secret weapon. You're not going to trust this good beast because you don't trust Beast. So
it is
once
also
again,
weird of
X-Force fucks it up.
It is weird, though, because I will say, if you look at Avengers Beast, even if you look at the Beast that came in the past, if you look at the Beast who, I'll even tell you this, remember when Cyclops formed X-Force?
And Beast was like, you're a monster.
Beast was the one like, you're a fucking monster. All of this, the switch seemed to have started when Beast brought back the original X-Men.
Absolutely. The act of hubris.
And I feel that though it is strange but then what led to that point? What led to the point where he decided, I know better than everyone else, and in the end, my way or the highway, fuck everything else. It wasn't Grant Morrison. It wasn't Grant Morrison.
It was the establishment of Krakoa.
But what I'm saying is the roots of that, I think, were starting when he brought back the other X-Men. He was already starting.
For sure. But like
I feel like
Tilt Boogie was Krakoa.
Yeah. And so I do wonder though, if that's always there, whose side are you on? Sage or Wolverine? That it's always there, it's always going to happen.
I think it's somewhere in the middle. It's always potentially there. It's always potential. Like you don't know what will lead him down that path, but that path is one path that this person takes.
Do you think something else could have happened to you and you would have ended up being evil? Or
absolutely
contrarian, do you think something could have happened to me and I could have ended up good?
No.
You're wrong. My family could have loved me. All right. Anyway. No, it's all very interesting. All this really just leads up to them deciding to take the shot. They find Beast and they're going to blow him up, not realizing he's trying to help them and try to stop the other Beast. Because the other Beast is getting his hands on nukes, and he basically wants to nuke Mars first? No.
Yeah, he's going to shoot a weapon, like use the nuclear weapons to shoot a weapon at Mars that will crush them into a pocket dimension, like basically imprison them to keep them safe while he wipes Orcus out. And then he's like, okay, everyone, it's safe now, come out. But that's fucked up.
Yeah, at this point, it's similar to Moira, where
it's very Moira coded,
where he's now just maniacal mustache twirling villain, and I need a little more of like what happened that made you get there. I don't care how many fucking info pages of him writing long diatribes about why he thinks he's right. I still don't see the jump. I know they were doing it, but I still don't see the reasoning of why he's made this jump.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it's an early X-Force where he just kept, it's too important, there's too much at stake. We can't afford to have morals.
I know, but we can't afford to have morals. So I'm now going to make a whole entire lab filled with mutants that I'm going to torture and experiment on.
Right.
It's still just a very, like, he's now at like Nazi level evil.
But I mean, it's like you find out your friend is actually like smoking meth. Like your friend smoked meth. You're like, oh my God, you smoked meth? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, how often do you smoke meth? And they're like, every day. Every day. I've been smoking meth every day for the past 2 years.
But at least I understand the addiction of meth. It's almost being like, I hung out with my friend and it's like, yeah, well, I kill a homeless person every night when I go home. And then you're like, what? Don't you? I feel it's a bit different. I don't know.
I don't know. People will surprise you, including
It's
Hank
true.
McCoy.
I am just, but it just makes the idea of redemption is like, I feel he's gone too far, and as Moira has. And I'm curious if they're going to do something where they're going to kill off that beast and keep this good beast because he's gone too far. Same thing with Jean. Jean blew up a whole planet, so now it just needs to be up. Jean, this other Jean was in a cocoon. She never did that.
Yeah.
Oh, can I do a side note? I'm sorry, I keep side noting. Speaking of Beast and all of this, I reread all of X Factor recently. When I went through my run of Uncanny X-Men, going up through Inferno, it was when Maddie came, and it was like, Maddie, my baby's gone, Cyclops left me. I'm like, oh, this is right when X Factor began. So I started reading X Factor. Jean Grey is written, she's an idiot. Do you know how many issues that she did not know that Madeline Pryor existed and that Cyclops was married?
How many?
It was like almost 30. I'm not joking. It was like 2 years of her being like, why is Scott being weird? And everyone's like, oh.
Wow.
And then she finds out and she's all mad and they're all like, oh my God, well, I didn't want to tell you because you're going to act like this. It literally was like that. And it was, Cyclops is such a garbage person. But they made Jean, they kept talking about how Jean no longer had telepathy and only had telekinesis. And she was basically useless. And was crap. And then the whole thing with Beast here in this is he goes back to being hairless Beast in X Factor.
Oh, yeah.
And then right around Inferno, he gets the hair back.
Yeah, because of Infectia.
Infectia, what a stupid character. This is tangent time. Infectia was listed in the 1989 Marvel Update comics. Do you remember those, Brett?
Yes, I do remember. And I remember that she was listed. And I was like, oh, it's Infectia from that issue.
And the reason I remember that is because after seeing Madam Web in Universal Studios, there's a comic book store. We went into the comic book store. There is a huge book, and her cover is on the cover of the 1989 Marvel Update. A huge hardbound book of it.
Ooh, and she's one of the characters on the
$100, Brett.
Did you buy it?
No, for $100 for 10 issues of a 1989 Marvel Update.
And it's just like listings.
Yes, not for $100. I felt that was like too far.
Did you call a manager? Did you complain?
I'm not going to be that bad. All right, I took it off on too many tangents. Basically, Good Beast is about to be blown up. What's going to happen? We're done with X-Force.
Do you think Benjamin Percy will make Wonder Man kill somebody?
Oh, just to depress him. I want Wonder Man to be the new Rain Sinclair of X-Force.
Oh, he has to eat somebody.
Torture him.
Wonder Man's going to have to eat evil Beast.
But also, you also feel like, who am I? Where it's just like, hey, you know who's more important than you? Vision. Because we based him off of you and we actually like him better. Hey, do you know we like your powers, but you know who's more important than you? Rogue. So we're going to take your powers. He is probably an empty shell of a man. Yeah,
I think that's what why did he go evil? What were the stories where he went evil? It was like under Bendis. I think it was in Bendis's event. I don't remember, but
in X-Force? He went evil in Uncanny X-Force? or Uncanny Avengers?
I forget what Avengers book it was. It might have just been Avengers.
Oh.
I don't remember. But he was like, I'm a nobody. I'm a joke to you.
Like, yup.
Yep, pretty much, bitch.
Should we talk about Rise of the Powers of X?
Yes. Is it 10?
Rise of the Powers of 10. No, you're right. Because it's a math pun.
It is a math pun. And also, I feel like these issues are somewhat close to calculus. There's a lot going on in these books.
There's a lot going on.
In these Rise of the Powers of 10 books.
I feel like they're telling us too many things and not telling us very important things.
Well, okay. Elaborate.
Just in general I don't know where, like, they're not showing what's happening inside the White Hot Room.
Right. We haven't seen an issue of Immortal in quite a while.
Like, but also Jean, they have Jean. So they know, if they have Jean, that means they have everybody, but then it means there's two versions of Mother Righteous, and one is in the White Hot Room and one is being held captive.
They revealed so much plot of the Immortal X-Men line that it was like jarring. I was like, wait, did I miss?
But I still don't know. But is the 5 there? Are they able to resurrect? Is that why these dead X-Men are back? Is because the 5 came and they resurrect them? Why don't we fucking see that shit? Show that. Show it. I know, but I'm sick of people saying plot devices when those are things that we could see. I would like to see them coming back and raising them up. Yeah. Like, that's what I felt was dumb about that. They started N Media Res in Dead X-Men, and they needed to start with them being fucking resurrected. I don't know. It's bothering me. They're leaving it out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's start at the beginning of this comic. Moira.
So the first issue is basically all about failing the first mission, which is trying to prevent Enigma from ever becoming the Dominion.
Yes, and they feel the way to do that is they go into Moira's no place because it's outside of space and time, so it's the only place the Dominion can't reach him. And the other way he thinks she's going to do it is by murdering baby Moira before she gets her powers.
That's not true, Ellen. That's not true.
Okay, Dakota, what did I get wrong?
In that what they're doing, the Moira is the plan B.
Oh, what's the plan A?
A was trying to stop the ascension of Dr. Stasis. That's what all of issue 1 is about.
Oh, right. But that didn't happen.
And they failed.
I know. Oh, I'm just talking about now. So now they're on plan B.
Well, I'm going somewhere with this.
Oh, okay. Right. Well, you don't have to go there by pointing out that I'm an idiot.
I'm not. I'm actually talking about.
Are you trying to make me look stupid
story
in front of the other guests?
So this is a comic book podcast. You don't think people are going to be listening going, that's not fucking right. So we have to nip that in the bud.
Okay.
So where that's going is that weird moment where Doug starts being really nasty to Rasputin in number 1, where he's like, you're supposed to be a fucking hero. You failed to prevent Stasis from ascending. You know, you're the worst. I'll go tell the team. And Xavier was like, whoa. Now we know why.
Because is that even Doug at all?
Or is it even Doug at all?
Or it's because he has a diamond on his head, so he's been sinisterized, but but he never.
It's not Doug, it's Sinister.
But my question though is, these other people, they got sinisterized when they were resurrected. Doug was sent down in Krakoa. So is the real Doug, do you think, still down in the Krakoa?
I don't think so. I'm tempted to say Xavier used Doug as a vessel to get Sinister into a body.
But then but Doug wasn't resurrected. So I am curious of like, how is Sinister in Doug's body?
Again, I think Xavier used his telepathy because like Sinister was like living in Xavier's head.
Oh, that's right. So you think he transferred what was in his head and put it into Doug. That is horrible. That's terrible.
Exactly. That is the point I am making.
Terrible. I didn't put that together. All right, that makes sense, and that's horrifying.
Yeah. Okay. So number 2 opens with Moira.
We have a thing where they're talking about there's a thing about her just not wanting to eat.
She's enjoying her favorite meal that she was as a kid. She liked putting salt on oats and water. And that was like the last meal she'll ever. So this is like, it's like her moment where like, it's the last time she's ever happy. Every time she goes back, she relives this moment and then her powers kick in.
But what does that mean? Her powers kick in?
It means she gets her mutant powers.
But why does that change anything her as a little girl?
It's the Moira that's lived 9 times already going through this.
But we've already seen in the past that she remembers everything in the womb.
Yeah.
So why is her awakening her powers? She still remembers everything. What's different?
Well, because she's living as a normal person without any kind of problems, and then her powers kick in and all the shit starts.
Well, she's not a normal person because she remembers all of her past life already.
Right, but she's not a mutant in this moment.
So it's literally just like, this is my last moment of not being a mutant, so now I'm all gross. What a fucking mutant phobe she is.
It's her self-loathing.
Okay, I get it. I feel like
she stifles her self-loathing with porridge.
You are like, I am.
I told you I read this a second time. You are. You have to read it a second time.
I don't need to read it a second time because you are just going to lap me through this.
Yes, but this conversation would be so much more enjoyable if you did.
All right. I am so sorry. Let's move on.
So then, who's narrating? Oh, Enigma is narrating. And Enigma's like bouncing all over through time. Enigma's like, I exist outside of time, so I can check in on all this shit. There's Jean. And I think they drop a clue as to like how Enigma's going to be taken down. So they flash to Jean when she's accepting the Phoenix. And the caption is, Jean Grey's skin flush as she faces her first annihilation. And the part of her that eats stars and dominions steps closer.
There we go.
There it is.
There we go. She's going to eat a dominion.
She's going to eat that boy up. He's like, then he checks in on Cyclops falling out of the plane, and then flash forwards to him at his trial, thinking Jean is going to save him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, but where's Xavier? I can't find Xavier. I see him in the past fighting with Juggernaut as a kid, but I don't know where he is now. Oh, wait, there he is. So basically, Xavier is disappearing into this no place, and even Enigma can't see him in there, which I'm like, this has been a thing for me the whole Krakoan age. The powers of Krakoa never cease to amaze me.
Yeah, right.
Could we make a list of all the things Krakoa is capable of? Like,
Krakoa can make a gate outside of time and space.
Nice. Right, nice. Krakoa can make tumors that exist outside of time and space.
I wonder where does the negative zone exist in with Dominions? Can they see that?
I feel like that's like a dimension like any other, maybe.
But outside of time and space, but isn't outside of time and space within your own dimension?
There's so many things that are outside of like limbo.
True, that's what I'm curious. Can the Dominion see limbo? Can the Dominion see another dimension? Can the Dominion see another alternate timeline? I understand they can see past and future, but I wonder if it's connected to just this dimension.
Wonder. Yeah. Curious fellow.
And then we have poor, foolish, stupid Rachel Gray.
Rachel. I do love that this whole story is kind of like hinging on Rachel.
I also feel like, is it just me, or I don't think she's that stupid.
Oh.
I'm hoping that she has like, what? What are you laughing at?
I thought you meant, I didn't know if you meant, you don't think she's that stupid, meaning you were taking back your comment where you just called her stupid, or if you were about to say that you think she's on to Xavier.
I think she's on to Xavier is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think she has to be a little on to Xavier.
A little bit, right? Like her girlfriend's Betsy Braddock, for fuck's sake. These bitches don't fuck around.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's the reveal that like they have Mother Righteous, and I'm like, wait,
Mother Righteous is in the White Hot Room.
Yeah, and then later they'll explain she sent a mutant homunculus to the White Hot Room,
which is why they were like, oh, that she is like a weird little mini mutant.
Right. Oh yeah.
So they have her.
And then we get to this data page where it's like, here's the mission. The target is Enigma. Plan 1 was issue 1, stop it from happening, failed. So now we basically have to cruise this little tumor ship through spider sentinels in space to go outside of time and space, because our Krakoan tumor is capable of that, while all of like regular life is going on. And everyone has a role. Cypher, Rachel, Mother Righteous, Rasputin, Xavier, they're all the team.
Yeah. All the while, the dead X-Men are trying to find the Moira.
Which they did. They found a Moira.
And that was in the last...
Who was not a robot.
And when they're talking about they're talking about that issue, right? That happened in the first issue, correct?
Yeah, of Dead X-Men #1.
Yes.
Yeah. So here's where I'm confused, though. It's like, so they're going to, like, Xavier's like, I'm going to kill this Moira from an alternate timeline. But, it's her alternate timeline. Okay. I was like, how does that unravel everything? But it is, so they're basically like, they found her, like, 7th life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so when he's saying, I'm going to delete it, I'm not even going to delete the 10th life. I'm going to delete an earlier one.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I didn't get that part. That's interesting. I like that
too.
So
they're like, so let's say they go to like life 5, you know, they like basically cut out 5 and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
But in general, if it's all the only thing that's different are the choices that she made. So
yeah, it's
all just going to, but that's the thing is if you kill Moira, I guess let's stop for a second and talk about, do you think this is going to end with Moira being killed? I don't think it can.
I do.
But then that would mean if Moira didn't exist, then the entire previous X-Men universe wouldn't exist because Moira was in it as a good guy. Like that, all of that would be gone, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they want to rewrite something that the entire previous X-Men comics no longer are canon or valid.
I definitely don't think any sort of reset is going to be happening.
But how can you kill her without resetting everything?
Right. I know. I was thinking like depowered and then killed.
But they need to do something so that she still lives the life that she lives until she dies. Where it's that fake golem death or whatever that was. Like to keep the comic books history intact.
Right.
They need to have something where all of that will still happen anyway. And so I'm very confused of how they're going to do all of this, which makes me think that she is not going to die, but maybe she'll have what is happening to Beast. I think it's just interesting where we have Moira, Beast, and Xavier all turning evil. And and if we can see Beast have a redemption, maybe it's Moira having a redemption. Maybe she can see like, oh, look, I'm a crazy robot Nazi. I don't want that.
Yeah, but the ending of this issue doesn't, maybe it does, but it says the opposite. It says like she's going to get closer with Enigma. Maybe.
Well, but that's in the end where Enigma basically speaks to Moira. That's our robot Moira from now, right?
Yes.
I think
correct.
the real important thing is that little girl Moira. Because they're saying in 22 minutes, she's about to become a mutant. And when she walks off, it's like a weird kind of magical, like when you see her walk off, how it looks kind of weird.
Yeah.
I think wherever she's walking off to, that's right where they're coming to get her. Like I
think you're right.
That's right where they're coming to get her. Because if it's 22 minutes, it has to happen before she gets her powers. They're coming right there.
That's your window.
So I think that other dimension Moira is going to be there. I think even other Moira's going to be there. And then I think Xavier's going to be there. And
1000%.
I have a feeling this little girl Moira's going to see it. And someone else is, and then this is my guess, is what I want to happen. Rachel's going to show up and save her because she knew what was going on all along or something. And then this little girl,
right.
And this little girl is going to be like, I don't want to fucking be like any of these people.
Right. Fuck you, bitches.
That's my guess of what's going to happen.
Farm.
But I will say thank you so much for reading this over and over because I was so confused.
It is. It's very dense. Like it's just very like, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And like this crazy science and that crazy science. So here's another thing that I picked up on my second time. Someone's going to die. And I'm going to tell you who it is.
Who?
Hope.
Okay.
So look at the pages.
The one where she's holding the gun up to Mother Righteous?
Yes.
Okay.
So she's holding the gun to Mother Righteous. This is the page where they establish that the dead X-Men, Dazzler, Jubilee, they were resurrected here. And Mother Righteous, and like 5 and Mother Righteous did it on that side. But then the page that's silent, the page where Elixir is trying to heal the dying Jean/Phoenix, like look at the shadow in the door and then look at the shadow coming in and Exodus looking at the shadow and then the shadow like putting their hand on Elixir like, please stop. I really think Hope is going to sacrifice herself so that the Phoenix can be reborn and the white hot room can be white and hot again. Because if you go to that next page, that beautiful page of just the light shooting through, that darkness, that's the white hot room. Right. So that's Enigma coming for the white hot room. There's not much white or hot left. So they're going to have to do something to kind of like kickstart the Phoenix again.
But are all those other mutants still all there, like Destiny and all of them too?
Yes, they are.
So they all have to get out of there.
Or the Phoenix will just take care of them.
But you think... So in that first one where everybody's looking sad...
It's because like Jean is dying and therefore the Phoenix is dying and therefore the white hot room
is dying. But why
dying.
do you feel that Hope is going to be able to save her over Elixir?
Because she's got such a connection to the Phoenix that I think like she could be the Phoenix sacrifice that the Phoenix needs to be reborn.
And if they just get rid of Hope, then they can have an excuse for not having resurrection anymore.
Exactly.
That's probably right too. They're probably going to get rid of Hope to end resurrection.
And with Hope goes resurrection. Yep.
And then until 3-4 years later, they're going to...
She's resurrected.
Or honestly, I never liked Hope, so I do not care if she's never resurrected. But I do feel that there has to be another person that can help the 5 resurrect somebody.
For sure. I think they established Sync could do it, but he couldn't. Hope had that special magic that would like cure people of Sinisters, you know? So I wonder if with her, resurrection truly does die.
Interesting. Oh, and because you do see, I just realized you see the hand on that's that hand.
It's very like, on let Exodus me do it. You know?
But for Exodus, he's like, hey, a religion needs a martyr for someone to die. So that's great.
Saying.
All right.
And like all that imagery of like the Bible stuff that was in Immortal. I mean, I think Hope is the Christ figure. And Hope is going to sacrifice herself.
And also, I feel that the Phoenix is the white hot room out of space and time.
Yes.
And so that means the Phoenix is. And so the thing that I like is that all of these futures that he's looking forward, he doesn't really fully see what the Phoenix is going to do. He can't see any future where the Phoenix is intervening.
Right.
Because the Phoenix has not decided to intervene. It works the same way as a Dominion, which is why it can eat it.
Exactly.
All right. I'm on board.
It's basically like light versus dark, you know, in the higher realm. You know, it's like death in a simulation, rebirth and freedom, you know, classic concepts. At war with one another yet again.
Oh, X-Men.
Oh my God. All right. And then, so they go through all the Sentinel stuff and it's a danger. And then, they're fighting. And then Enigma's like, hey, Moira, let's talk.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I see what you're saying about Rachel not being stupid, because Xavier's like, okay, we found Moira. I'm just going to go talk her down off the ledge.
Also,
BRB.
Hey, right in front of her, we're going to have a secret telepathic meeting contact, and I'm going to make sure Rachel is blocked out. I'm like,
you ain't doing that to Rachel.
Okay. Rachel's pretty fucking good with telepathy, so I'm not buying it. Yeah.
100%. And she's also the type of person, like, she's very smiley and agreeable in these scenes. I'm like, bitch knows.
Yeah.
A bitch knows.
Yeah. Because one called to Betsy, and Betsy's like, girl, shut it down. Shut smile
it.
Until you have to shut it down.
Speaking of Betsy, heavens to Betsy. I'm mad that I did not finish reading the current story of Marvel Unlimited, X-Men Unlimited. Here's why. So it starts off with being about the Proudstar brothers and Danny Moonstar. And then Moonstar is like, we're going to go get the people the Orcus just kidnapped back. Proudstar brothers stay here. Or maybe she takes Thunderbird. And she's like, we're going to go after them. And then she contacts Betsy. And she's like, can you help? And Betsy's like, I can't right now. I'm being interviewed on TV for being Captain Britain. And she's like, well, can you send transport? And so Shatterstar shows up. And he's like, I'm your transport. So then Shatterstar and Mirage are... And then Betsy shows up. So it's basically... I don't know if Mirage is there, but it's basically Betsy and Shatterstar now on a mission. And who should show up?
Who?
But Mr. Richter.
Oh, shit. Yeah, because we haven't seen where he's been at.
Right. Well, this story it's Betsy, Richter, and Shatterstar taking down this whole like corner of Orcus together. And it's very queer coded.
Well, it's a fucking current bisexual Captain Britain and a bisexual Shatterstar. And this is
what I mean is it's
time
very,
for
like,
the B in LGBT.
Hell yeah. Like not queer coded, like it's queer overt, but it's very like the queers are taking on the patriarchy coded. Like it's very cool.
Yeah.
So I got to finish that. I got to read that.
Yeah. Bisexual. Just quick little shout out. If you're looking for some extra trash TV on Peacock, there's a show called Couple to Thruple. And it's a bunch of bisexual people, singles. And then there's like a gay couple. Well, one guy's bisexual, and then other singles where the girls are bisexual, and then they all try to get like turn their couple into a throuple.
Let's go.
It's trashy. It's pretty fun though.
Sounds great.
All right.
It sounds great.
And you know what else sounds great? Comics that aren't the X-Men.
Especially comics written by Jonathan Hickman.
Yeah, let's talk about some Jonathan Hickman comics that came out this week. Hit the music. Comics that I have read. There's other comics than the X-Men, but who cares really? All right, girl, let's talk about G.O.D.S.
G.O.D.S feels like Jonathan Hickman was like, I'm going to take my toys and I'm going to play over here.
Yes.
Also, I love his toys.
Also, hey, Sandman. You think you can do that shit?
Hey, Sandman.
I'm gonna do my shit. I was reading some comments, and like after reading this comment, I was like looking at comments on this book, and people were like, guys, I think this is kind of like Marvel Sandman. And everyone's like, yeah, wake up. Like, duh. What, you just realized this? You're an idiot.
Yeah, very true. You idiot. That's so internet. I'm going to say something about comic books. You're an idiot.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting that, so I did read Hickman's Avengers that led to Secret Wars, and the character of Black Swan, who was a character with like ebony skin and white hair, was very prominent in that book. And so now here's like the kids version.
Okay.
So it opens with this nurse
telling these little like supernatural kids a story
these
of,
little swans.
oh, these women, they meet some man and then they fuck him and then they eat him. Yay.
And it's like, magic.
And the kids are like, what a great story. What did he taste like?
And then she goes to work dressed as a traditional nurse. But it's a very like high-tech, weird facility where everyone in there is a woman in a nurse uniform. And so she's interrogating this guy and basically bludgeons him. This is this nurse now. She bludgeons him. She forces him to look at a magic object
like
and
some
draw
magic
what
egg.
he sees.
Yeah.
Yeah. And draw what he sees. And he writes the letters TH. And then like, oh, interesting.
And then a door opens and a bunch of like squiddly arms suck him back.
And eat him. Yeah. But they're like, oh, interesting. A consonant cluster instead of a single letter. That's surprising. Promising even. You know what this reminds me of, Jonathan Hickman?
What?
Krakoa had a character for TH. TH was one letter.
Right. Are you thinking, oh, this is just...
I think it's just a Hickman thing.
Did Hickman write the Krakoan alphabet? Did he?
Yeah.
He took the time to do that all himself?
I mean, I don't know if he designed it.
No.
But he decided that like TH would be a letter.
Yes. And then we cut from that to Wynn, who is our avatar to the powers that be, goes up to Mia DeMaria, who is a magic person like Wynn, but is that actually working for the enemies of the powers to be or the opposition?
the people that they forged an uneasy alliance with? Yes, the opposition.
The natural order of things. So it's science versus magic. So this magic woman is with the science people. And last issue, he's like, why the fuck do you have her? And his what's his ex-wife's name?
Aiko.
She's just kind of like, hey, what's up? I have my reasons. And we find out the reasons later on, which are really
she clipped her. Yeah, she clipped her basically by establishing a relationship with her, this science woman with this magic girl. She's stifling the girl's magic, and now the magicians won't have anything to do with her because she's got the stink of science on her.
It's kind of like if you see little baby animals, you can't touch them because then the mother will smell the other and then just kick you out of the nest.
Right.
And so that's basically what happened. She does not find that out towards the end, though.
Yeah, that's true. We skipped ahead. When I was 6 years old, I went around touching every baby bird in every nest I could find.
Like knowing that?
I had the powers of a god to control nature.
Okay. And you know what they say about, I was about to say, and that's symptom number 1 of a sociopath.
I would never do that.
I will say my most traumatic thing is I once found a little baby bunny and I did touch it and like moved it towards the end of the grass so that hoping a mother would find it. No, but it didn't matter. That day I heard the sound. My dad mowed the lawn.
No.
Chopped up the little bunny.
Jeff, no. Why did you tell me this? Why did you say that into your microphone?
And I was like,
this
no!
part.
It was like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Part.
That's what happened to you. That's why you're like the way you are.
Well, I didn't see the chopping of the bunny, but apparently my dad was like,
the noise.
Well, I did not hear the noise. It was like the red wind. I did not hear the noise, but my dad did say, don't go back over this area. And I was like, no.
Oh, no.
Anyway, back to the story.
I can't go back to this story, not after you told me that.
Well, I didn't know my dad was going to mow the lawn.
You baby birded my brain just now by touching it with that story, and now this story won't have it back.
Anyway, Wynn comes to
these fucking nurses
with Mia, takes Mia, and he's like, "You need to go in there because you're a woman. I can't go in there as man. You need to go in there and hand them this note, and basically the note is, give me back." You have something that belongs to me. What's the thing that they have? Dimitri, his assistant. That's one of the powers of the powers that be. No, the natural order of things.
And he is up to something which I did not appreciate until I read the synopsis, like the little blurb leading into the story, where it's like, here's what you missed. The last sentence was like, and Dimitri has been leaving mysterious objects everywhere. I'm like, he has?
Yeah. And he wanted to leave an object with these nurses. I think it was the object that the last cube monster, I can't remember their names, had. It looked like it was that one.
Oh, yeah. The proto-mage. Yeah.
Yes. So I also just find it interesting that as of right now, we have, for the powers that be, we have a magician, Wynn, whose assistant is a scientist natural order of things. And then we have Kaiko, who's part of the natural order things, and her assistant is a powers that be magician. I think all of this is very interesting.
Yeah, it's part of that uneasy alliance. It's like, okay, it's like a work trade program.
Yeah, but the other thing that's interesting is he's kind of like, hey, I want you to help me with this thing. And what can you do? And she's like, look, I learned how to be invisible. And he's like, we also can make a magic weapon. Look, I can make this little dagger. She makes this big ass fucking.
That was really comedic. I loved that scene.
And he was like,
produces a dagger. Yeah.
Total penis envy.
And he says the weapon reflects who you are.
Yeah.
And so then he's like, my little dagger. And she's got this giant glaive.
Yeah. So basically they're able to get him back.
They're able to get Dimitri back, and Mia is like, listen, here's the deal. You give him back to me, and I will
help you solve the puzzle.
This message that you're getting, one letter at a time. And then she's like, oh, okay, it's not done yet. I can't decode the message. I can't reveal it, but I can tell you there are 64 characters left. And they're like, oh my God, thank you. Because they didn't know when the shit was going to end, getting these letters via these violent ways.
Yeah, but it also means he's like, okay, go kill 62 more men, because each letter is another man.
Right.
So he's like, go kill those other 62 men and have fun.
And then their true form is revealed. They're all these, like, they're not nurses. They're these horrible extra dimensional creatures.
Yeah.
And then, thank you.
And it ends with Wynn saying, you've been clipped. Because she's like, I love this. I want to be with you. And he's like, sorry, bitch. You're never going to be with me. So that's going to be real fun in the next issue when she goes back to the natural order of things and fucking confronts them.
The next issue has Aiko on the cover, and it seems to be a story about something she did. So it's going to pick up on this action she took against this little magician.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a good book.
We also are diving into the only comic that's digging into the Ultimate Universe right now. Black Panther, I believe, is coming out, and then unless it might have just come out.
I think it did just come out.
Oh, it did just come out. And then X-Men are coming out next month.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And basically, we're living in a world where the Iron Man here is trying to right some wrongs. And he basically gave old Peter Parker the Spider, being like, this was supposed to happen to you as a teenager. You're supposed to be one of the greatest superheroes. It's up to you what you want to do. And he decides to get bit. And so now here he is, like in his 40s or late 30s, 40s, trying to be Spider-Man.
To learn how to be Spider-Man with a wife and 2 kids.
Yeah.
Like, and not knowing how to swing.
Yeah.
But does he even have web fluid?
They don't go over into how they're not talking about where his webs are coming from.
Yeah. And his suit is weird too, in that like it dissolves and like reforms.
Yes. And also the weird thing here is because he seems to only be a journalist. He does not seem to be a scientist at all.
Yeah, he's like a photographer.
And so if he's not a scientist, how is he making these? Unless did Iron Man
thing?
Maybe Iron Man gave it to him just like in the MCU. But
maybe.
I'm just going to suspend my disbelief and assume that it will be revealed at some point.
And then we cut to the Russian-Turkish baths where we have old homosexual couple Ben Parker and J. Jonah Jameson enjoying a steam together.
I wish there was like when you panned out, there was just 2 guys jerking. No, just 2 guys. Yeah, but 2 guys were like jerking them off on the
next
side.
To them. Can you guys keep quiet in the corner there? Sorry.
And basically they're seeing that, oh, this Spider-Man thing is really just a distraction because there's someone else.
The real story.
If someone else is able to break into Kingpin's private buildings.
And it's the Green Goblin.
Yeah. And they're like, that's the real story.
That's the scoop.
But haven't seen that much of like what's going on with the Green Goblin, have we? In this
I don't think we have. No.
Like, is this Green Goblin the William Dafoe?
Is it Harry
or James Franco?
Is it James Franco? I think it's James Franco.
Okay, yeah, me too. I'm not sure.
But then Peter comes home and his weird mask dissolves off so he can eat. And then all of a sudden, his stupid little daughter, May, she can't sleep. She goes into the living room. She sees the Spider-Man from the newspaper cover that she's afraid of and starts to cry. And he's like, no, it's Daddy. I'm Daddy. I'm the scary spider. I'm Daddy.
And then he's like, how about this be you and my little secret? And that's triggering for me. I don't like it whenever one parent is telling the child, Stevie, keep this a secret. It's very groomy and weird. And just fucking tell your wife. Fucking tell your wife, bitch. Yeah. And but then again, this is what's making it juicy. Is this is not going to go down well because now that he's lied, we already know that Mary Jane's gonna fucking lose her shit. Because she's gonna find out not under his volition. You know what I mean? He's not going to tell her. She's gonna find out. She's gonna flip her lid. She's gonna maybe want a divorce or something. Like it's gonna be all drama.
A lot of drama. I will say, his fight scenes with the Shocker are a little hilarious.
Yeah.
Hickman writes good Spider-Man fight banter.
Because the Shocker keeps being like, no, wait, like my mom has cancer. And he's like, oh my God, really? And he's like, no.
So funny. Yeah, it's cute, and you can see like his black costume is too scary, so he'll embrace a red and a blue costume for his daughter. Yeah,
because she's gonna design it for him.
Yeah, cute. It's cute.
I like it. I'm very much also. The thing for me is they established such an interesting plot of what this ultimate universe is.
The delayed universe, yeah.
But now they're like, and now here's Spider-Man, and now here's this, and then we'll have X-Men, and they're like, not getting to any of the real nitty-gritty stuff.
Yeah. Right.
Like I feel the real nitty-gritty stuff would be the Ultimate Avengers. The Ultimates. And so but I don't see any things of when that's ever going to come out. So it is interesting how they're just kind of delaying all of this.
Maybe it's I would say like maybe it's a slow build, but not really. You don't have any Avengers characters even in books.
Yeah.
Except Tony.
Yes.
Tony Baloney. Well, those comic books, they'll put you through it.
And you know what else does? Supernatural movies.
Especially adorable animated ones.
We're going to take it. We usually don't talk about kids' movies, but this one I'm going to because I want to brag. Because one of the storyboard artists on this latest Netflix feature is my one and only fiance, Joe Bernados.
I saw his name. It's like his name comes up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
When the traditional closing credits start, like he's one of the first ones. I was like, oh my God.
I think it's because it's alphabetical order, but take a win.
Well, I mean, the storyboard artists, they're like that's like the first section. The story artists.
I mean, the storyboard artists are the DPs. They're the ones that are establishing the shots.
Yeah.
Anyway,
let's talk about it.
It's called Orion in the Dark. You can watch it on Netflix. It's was originally it's been rewritten, but it's written by Charlie Kaufman.
Yeah,
so that's
which
what I
blew
found.
My mind.
Yeah, which I found, this has a very different feel to it. I think a lot of children's stories tend to be very. This one, and I know it's called Orion in the Dark. This one's a little darker. It's about a severely anxious, depressed child who basically is always believes he's about to die. It's a very dark
me
setup.
As a kid.
I know, me too. It's very like, oh, they're going there. Of like, it opens with him just talking about all the ways he's everything he's afraid of, how he's afraid he's going to be bullied, how he's afraid he's going to die. It's pretty fucking dark.
I was afraid of everything when I was a kid, like everything. It ruled my behavior, fear in general. And so like when this movie started, I was like, oh, wow, this takes me back.
Yeah, and Orion's voiced by Jacob Tremblay, who was the
my
kid
arch
from
nemesis.
The
I
Room.
was so mad you made me watch a fucking Jacob Tremblay movie.
Why is he your arch nemesis?
Because I decided he is.
He's a child.
I've badmouthed him before.
But did he do something? Was he in something
No,
you hated?
it's because he's so, like not liking Jacob Tremblay is such like a horrible like. Who would not like Jacob Tremblay? That's why I'm doing it.
You're my friend when Haley Steinfeld got nominated for an Oscar for True Grit. He was just like, "What is this? The kids show? Fuck that bitch!" And
Oh my
I was
God.
like,
I was just
"What the fuck
ranting
did
about-
she ever do?"
I was ranting about Anna Paquin's win like 2 nights ago to my husband, and he was like, "Shut up."
Wait, were you mad about that?
Yeah, I was like, she can't even act now. You think she was better when she was 7?
I disagree. I thought she was really amazing in the piano. I love the piano. But I do feel it was more of a fuck you to Winona Ryder than let's give it to Anna Paquin. Because Winona Ryder won everything and then didn't win the Oscar.
Ugh. Anyway, Orion in the Dark. Visually a mess. I'm just kidding. Every shot, the way it was composed didn't make sense.
Shut up. You're like the storyboarding trash.
Storyboarding trash. Rest of it great. I am not. I've said this before in this show. I'm not a Pixar guy. I'm not a Pixar gay. I'm not a Disney gay. I don't enjoy these animated films that follow these formulas.
I do find it strange of like.
Isn't it weird?
But you can watch the same cheesy formulas are in the MCU.
Absolutely.
A million other things. Why?
I don't know why.
So
I just like the vibe. I'm just like, oh, I don't like it. But this, I liked I'm going to say it was the Charlie Kaufman-ness of
That's
it.
what I feel
really
too.
meta.
It got really meta and it got really dark and it started
and
to
aware of itself.
And it was flipping the idea of these types of movies on its head because the movie becomes, it's now I'm a grown-up telling this story to my daughter.
It's Princess Bride.
Yeah, but then the daughter's like, this isn't working. So he starts changing the story. And then
She
you see
starts
the
changing
daughter telling the grandkid the story. And then they're like, this isn't working. It just becomes very...
It's more about how stories like this, are like help tether us to our loved ones. And, it's just, this story didn't matter. It was more that the family was going in on the story together and like helping one another through fear in that way that I thought was actually really smart.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do think it is interesting because Joe told me he read the original script and the original script was not for children at all.
Oh, wow.
And it was a little too dark. And so nobody would picked it up. And then I think Charlie Kaufman, or maybe not him, or maybe the producers bought the rights to it. And I think they were like, we need to kidify this for this to sell.
Yeah.
So I am curious of like what I'm curious of what he thinks of it now. And I'm curious of like what the really dark version would be.
Yeah.
Because basically the plot of this is a kid who's most afraid of the dark. The entity, the dark, takes him around the world as he makes everything dark.
But the entity of the dark is a very it's not Seth Rogen, but it might as well be.
It's the guy who just won the Emmy for Paul Walter Hauser.
Oh, from Blackbird?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it definitely was supposed to be Seth Rogen because Paul Walter Hauser is doing a Seth Rogen impression.
100%.
But the other thing that I found interesting, the other dark stuff was like, not only was there dark, but there was also like Sleep, the character that puts everyone to sleep. But this character would put people to sleep by putting an imaginary pillow over their head and suffocating them into sleep, taking like imaginary chloroform and knocking them out. There was just these very...
Using a hammer.
Yeah, there was these very adult touches that I was like, what? This is
the character of Insomnia.
Oh, yeah. You're going to die.
That was very adult.
Of the kid that like keeps you awake with all of your
this
horrible
entity
thoughts.
that whispers your thoughts into your ear to keep you awake. Oh.
And that's what I will say is like, if you are someone like Brett, who's like, I hate these little goody feel good movies, I feel this one subverts it and that you should give it a chance because it's different.
It does. Like it just shows you that stories are subjective and like, it's more the act of telling them. And there was just a lot of really smart things this movie had to say about storytelling and its role in like family. And I loved it. I didn't love the movie. I loved that aspect. I love that it just decided to like let go of its linear literalness.
Yes.
And become this other thing. That was a really cool move.
Yeah. So please watch my.
But it was gorgeous too because it uses different animations. You know, it's not just the 3D animation of the main plot, but there's a lot of like 2D animation cutaways.
Yeah.
As well, which were really cool.
Yes.
Anyway.
So
Orion in the Dark. Watch it.
Watch it.
Yeah, watch it. Real quick, Drag Race catch up. Snatch Game. Disappointing.
Well, my thing is,
it was mid. The whole thing. Plain Jane too.
Oh, I thought Plain Jane did great. What are you talking about?
I think she did great, but it wasn't like a hilarious character.
Oh, I disagree.
I thought she
it was
like
great.
ably improvised and she hit bits. And her timing was good, and she was confident.
So that everything you're
clever.
describing is a great performance.
But it was like good technical improv.
No,
but
I feel more that way.
Like,
I felt Saphira was doing a poorer version of when Kennedy Davenport did Little Richard.
I agree, and it was the wrong direction to take James Brown.
James, you need cokehead James Brown.
You need cocaine. You need
hallelujah. Here we go. Yeah. Like
I thought Saphira actually was really bad. Like I'm great. It was great. She was confident and playful. Great. But like the actual bit you were doing was not good.
Yes. I will also say people were like, Amelia Earhart was good. No,
it was not.
There was nothing there. Terrible. It was horrible.
No point of view.
It was
None
terrible.
of them had a point of view, which is what I hated. Like Plain Jane was the only one who had a point of view. And so she shined.
Yes.
None of them had a point of none of their characters had a point of view about anything.
And here's another thing.
Horrible.
That was Hello Dolly, not Patti LuPone. Plasma.
Oh, absolutely. There was not even close
there
to
was
Patti LuPone.
Zero Patti LuPone. Hi, I'm Patti LuPone because I am Patti LuPone. Patti LuPone does not talk in a mid-Atlantic accent. Ever. No. Not even in a role she did.
No, the way you make Patti LuPone funny is like you make her correct everyone's behavior.
Yeah.
Because that's not how you behave in a theater. Like that's the bit.
Yeah.
There was another one too. It was like, no, the way you make that funny, and I can't remember what it was, but
Meghan McCain.
Like there was so, like, yeah, that was another one that stunk and was nothing. Like just fun. Like nobody found their game.
But for me,
not even Plain Jane.
I disagree. I feel Plain Jane did very well. And it's not as bad as the Lollapalooza one where everybody sucked.
Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I'm fine as long as there's one good person, which I still feel Plain Jane was good. I'm fine with it. Okay. Last year had fucking the Tim Gunn and the Joan Rivers was so good.
Oh, Lucy. Yeah.
Lucy LaDuca and Marsha were really good.
That was good.
Yeah. It's also just amazing that these people don't have jokes prepared. They don't have a point of view. It's literally like, what's your point of view?
What's your bit? What is your game?
It's like ask someone who does improv to help you out for like 3 seconds.
You have to have, like they call it a shtick. Like you have to, it's like, what are the rules of your character? Like you could have found a great rule for Jane Goodall.
Also, I'm getting worried.
Jane Goodall. This is You could have just again corrected everyone's behavior to be like, don't do that in front of the monkey. Like that'll make it throw its poop. Like it'll attack your face.
Throw some poop.
It's so easy.
She needed to put the edge on Jane Goodall, and she just literally was like, everybody recycle. And I'm like, huh? What? Like she was doing it like it was almost as if like when season 2 they all like half the people were like was the first Snatch Game and half the people were like, why are you being funny?
Get it.
Why are you being funny? I'm trying to revere Pink. Like Morgan McMichaels is like, Pink isn't funny. I'm trying to be Pink. It's like, no, we're not saying who dressed the best, dummies. It was Crazy Town. And also this banana thing, Nymphia needs to
let it go.
Needs to show that she's like you're much more impressive than Bananas.
Right.
Like, you don't need to be like banana. Like, it's like
make fashion your thing.
Exactly. And it's also like some of the most impressive fashion things were not the bananas. It was the ties. It's the other stuff. I think she's like relying on, I need a brand and my brand is a banana. And I'm like, that's not really how that works. So I'm really scared for her because she's my favorite and I'm scared she's like falling.
But she's not savvy
down the line.
In the game. She's not savvy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm very attracted to Nymphia as well.
Nymphia is gorgeous as a boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dawn.
Dawn has this little goblin like grimace that I cannot abide.
Yeah.
And also
Dawn is like shitty.
Dawn is the meanest. They say Plain Jane is
pretty
the meanest.
Shitty.
Dawn is the meanest.
Yeah, at least Plain Jane, like her there's a shtick to her meanness. Like she's doing it so in your face.
It's so in your face, and it's
Dawn is
also,
like a little giggling
and you know what it is? It's this Russianness. She's a Russian where it's like,
and she explains all of
girl,
that.
I just say everything what I feel to your face. You're never for 1 second getting something two-faced. Dawn will smile to your face and then go around the corner and talk shit in the interview.
Roll her eyes behind your back. Yeah,
exactly. And that is meaner. But hey, it's good TV. It's good TV.
It's good TV, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Drag Race. Watch
Drag Race, we did it. Wave the flag, it's over.
It's done.
It's done. Thank you so much, listener, for listening once again.
And second listener, we love you too.
We love you too, but you're kind of getting annoying.
You know what? I was reading a comic the other day, Brett.
Oh,
fag. And I suddenly started salivating for cock.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really?
And do you know why I think that is?
No, why? Yes.
I think that if you read comics,
yeah,
well, then that makes you queer.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.